from the time we had taken you. That was due to completely unforeseen circumstances, and there wasn't very much we could do to avoid it. We are now happy to say that our guest speaker, Mr. Sanchar Pandey, Controller of Legal Metrology. And I'm happy to see that many of you have come at a time when perhaps some of you are also have taken time off from office. And what is very heartening this afternoon to see are a good bunch of students who have come to be part of the Social Sanchar, Together We Can's Social Sanchar. A few words about our trust, We Citizens Action Network. It's a registered trust, and our main aim is to address public issues and issues that arise for public concern. One of the ways we address these concerns is through the medium of the Social Sanchar, which I will elaborate in a moment or two. We act in the role of a catalyst and work in partnership with the government agencies, not in a spirit of confrontation, but totally in the spirit of partnership, so that we can bring about the change that we always hanker for. The systems have to change, we say that, but unless you get into the system, change will take a much longer time. Now, as far as our portal is concerned, what we found is that technology requires to be used more extensively. So from our traditional way of working, of public meetings and seminars, which we still do, we embarked on the line of a web portal, which is an interactive portal called togetherwecan.in, www.togetherwecan.in. This was launched last year in August by our Chief Justice of Bombay High Court, Justice Mohit Shah. And I'm really happy to say that the portal has been serving good purpose, because basically what the portal does is to give things to the public and those who wish to have any help, but the help is done or the problem is resolved by the person themselves. We will help, but we won't do it for you. You need to do it for yourself. Whilst working in this manner, we found that the common man finds it very difficult to meet with and interact with the government officials, the senior ones, not because they don't want to meet you or meet all of us, but time constraint is there. And of course, in Mumbai, travel is a great chore. And we also don't want to increase to the traffic situation. So our partner, WeCan's partner, April Broadcast, came up with this new technology called AB Live 12, which enables an interaction online and in audience, which is what we are doing this evening. And wherever you are, interact with your government. So just log in via Twitter, by Skype, or by SMS. Yes, emails have also been coming to us, and such ones have already been given to our guest speaker. So we will, without further taking any time of yours, I would first like to thank the people who have made this Social Sanchar possible this evening. Our sponsors, Rashtriya Chemicals and Fertilizers Limited, which is a public sector undertaking and work primarily for the farmers. They have come forward in an urban setting to ensure that we have our Social Sanchar without any difficulty. The Royal Bombay Yacht Club is our venue partner. The club has partnered with us, not only this time, but certainly in more Sanchars to come, as part of their work to bring about awareness, bring about understanding from the point of view of citizens and how we can benefit from the various issues. Our founding partner of the portal, Eureka Forbes, has been behind our standing straight and being able to come through with various things that we bring to the public. The technology support.
So in any transaction, a consumer pays a certain amount of money for getting a certain quality of product. It essentially seeks to ensure that he gets the right quantity of the product for it. for which he is making pyramid. And this is a subject which every common man has to deal with day in and day out. And we are very happy that we have Mr. Sanjay Pandey in our midst. So I would request him to introduce the work of the department in about say 5 minutes. Then it will be open for the questions. Initially, whatever questions are coming on Skype, etc., as and when they come, we will take up. In between, whenever there are gaps, certainly we will welcome questions from the audience. And in particular, I will also request Sanjay Pandey to talk about the Department of Legal Metrology and its relation to the packaged commodities order, various laws which are laying down the labeling requirements, and the orders in relation to the notification of prices, MRP, etc. So with these words, I welcome him and request Dr. Sanjay Pandey, IPS, Controller Legal Metrology, to introduce the subject. Thank you.
No, he gave me what I think I'm okay. Well, at the outset, I must apologize. I somehow today is a very big day for legal metrology, and I did not realize that I had committed this time here. So because of which I was totally out of my mind when I caught a call from Abhijit here. Today is a day when legal metrology, for the first time in its history in Maharashtra, is doing auto rickshaw calibrations. And that started today. It's not yet totally started. There are hiccups, and we are trying to grope with them. So notwithstanding that, apologies all the same for being late here. I thank We Care for calling us here. I'll try to introduce legal metrology within the time frame that I've been given. The best explanation, best description of legal metrology was given by one of our first controllers when he came to meet me, Mr. Shingarwal. And he said that legal metrology is an act which impinges almost every person in his day-to-day life. And this is the only act which probably covers such a wide spectrum of a person's life. You eat something, you are putting on a dress, you are purchasing something from the shop, you are now purchasing even real estate. Everywhere legal metrology comes. So he gave an example. You can probably get away with prohibition because you can stop drinking. But you cannot get away from legal metrology because you have to deal with commerce, you have to wear clothes, and whatever things like even shoes. The other day we were there in a godown of one of the known shoemakers for seeing whether the fixed price is the same or whether they have smudged the price or not. So very vast spectrum. But something more pertinent, which you may be interested in, is that legal metrology deals with obviously the maximum retail price today of any commodity which is packaged. The biggest commodity today in news is the milk. And we are finding huge number of complaints. And we, within our laws, are trying to tackle that. We are, within our limited means, trying to get complaints from citizens and address those. The law is weak. We are trying to implement a newer law so that the MRP law will take care of not only just milk, but would take care of any packaged commodity, be it mineral water, be it biscuits, be it any such packaged commodity which you have. Today, even these SIM cards which are being sold or the recharge cards which are being sold are also under MRP. So we want to change it from, somebody said, manmana retail price to really a maximum retail price. And today, actually, it is manmana, and we want to, and I think we need citizen support. So when VCAN came to us, we said, we will certainly be interested to spread this word. We need you to come jointly with us and complain. Bring it to the notice. Be it a mineral water, be it even some people came for issues which are so far remote as I said, the SIM card or the recharge coupons. So we said, we will take care. We have provisions. More, certain things that we've done, nobody said that, well, let me give an example. A builder came to me when we started taking care of the builders. They said, this act is for consumers, for consumer goods. How does a building, how does a flat fall under these rules or under these acts? In a different parlance, he said, this is more to do with like potatoes and tomatoes which are sold in the market. Mr. Pandey, you must be out of your mind that you're talking about this to measure our flats. But somehow the legislative mind, I will have to credit them, they had said things which can be short delivered, and things were not defined. Thing includes immovable property. And that's where today Government of Maharashtra has sent the approval for the building, for measuring the flats and immovable property, that means even land, to the central government. It went on 25th of last month. So that's something that we are doing, and I'm very, I think that's one contribution that the legal metrology has brought to the common man in Maharashtra. Other than that, something which is happening right now is all taxi meters, every auto meter is covered. And whereas earlier there were things like you could probably, I think there was a complaint to be made to RTO. Here you have a law which is very, very strong towards tampering. You know, if you tamper with the seal of an auto, it will land you necessarily in jail. So that's something which is more stringent today, and I believe that with your support, we would be able to at least check the tampering of these meters and overcharging, which is affecting a lot of common citizens in the city. So that's another area, and something which was also brought to my notice by the regional transport officer, and I must thank Indra Malkani also, who told me about road traffic safety. And in road traffic safety, we are talking about way bridges. And let me tell you this, that the maximum number of accidental deaths which happen because of overloading of these trucks and these tankers. We in the legal metrology do stamp and do verify these bridges and these way bridges which are on all the national highways. In our drive, we have at least sealed on 2 corners of Maharashtra, one in the farthest corner towards Madhya Pradesh and other towards Bangalore, where these way bridges were found underwaying. And they will underway because a truck load which is allowed to go, if suppose you have more than the permissible weight, the penalty is 10 times. That is what the RTO has said. Now, this is, in order to avoid that, people share the loot. I mean, that's where the legal metrology is trying to help some bit in terms of road safety. So these are, I think, what we are essentially doing. What we do, we give licenses to anybody who wants to package. So the milk, we have said, if you want to package, you have to say cooling and transportation charges included. And most of them have fallen in line. A few have not come yet, but they will also come by. I think this is a norm not today. We give licenses to weights and measures. Anybody who wants to do transactions in the weights and measures will have to come to us to take a license. And these weights and measures are not only those weights and measures which you see in a day-to-day life, in the sense you go to a shop and see, but these are also those measures which are in laboratories, in medical labs. Today only we were in suburban diagnostics trying to find out whether their tapes or whether their weights were properly stamped by us or not. And maybe they were not aware, and we are taking that action as well. So even the pathology labs today do fall under purview. So such is the spectrum. I think I've introduced what my basic areas of work are. We are entire Maharashtra, and we are joined by a fraternity of legal metrology offices across India. So in that sense, we do cover the entire country. So you can now, I'll leave it open to you and ask me any questions you have, or I can come up. Yeah, thanks.
I think before we come to the in-house audience, the online audience has been waiting for a while, so we will take some questions. I think some SMS questions have come, so we will take that question first. But prior to that, whilst the question is coming up, Mr. Pandey, in a moment when in between questions, when we announced our program today, our Social Sanchar, I was asked this question verbally, so therefore I have no way of putting it up on the screen, that whenever we talk about citizens and consumers in particular, we think of the Consumer Protection Act. So what is the balance, or what is the difference, or how does it complement the Consumer Protection Act or the usage of the Act along with legal metrology? So in a very simple way, if you would take this matter up as well. Is a question ready for the SMS, please?
Yeah, I've read the question is that how can one take action against faulty meters at petrol pumps which give less quantities of fuel to the customers? Now, whoever has said this, Shivanand, I think this is, I was just thinking that I missed talking about petrol. For the audience here and for those who are on the web or the internet, let me do this, that India, as Indian four petrol companies, that is the Bharat Petroleum, the IOCL, the HPCL, Reliance, and the other, I think SR is also one of them. But the three are the major Indian like PSUs. The petrol dispensing units that are purchased are proven for 5 liters of petrol. Let me explain this. What it means is that if you purchase less than 5 liters, even the company which purchased this particular dispensing unit is not guaranteeing that you are getting exact measures. So how do you check the meters? I will come to that question directly again, but let me explain to you that less than 5 liters, our fellows who are buying, the companies themselves who have set up are not insuring. Forget about the meters. The second part, meter themselves, the dispensing themselves, which are used in India, are probably as antique as you would believe it. There were some pumps which we raided of BEST in Yavatmal, were hand-driven, like there was a hand thing which was going to move the thing. So for the consumers, we tell you this, there are 2 technologies. One is LED-based. LED is light-emitting diodes, and there are holes in the circle. So when the petrol goes out, it moves, and basis on this light, the meter is activated. This is a very old technology. The new technology is having a magnetic pulsar. And the magnetic pulsar petrol pumps, dispensing units are not there. So my point is that checking any of these today is actually, you are checking a faulty technology which is producing a faulty reading. We are taking it up with the petrol companies that please change over the technology, at least ensure 1 liter, because most of these Activa or other drivers are not taking 5 liters. Our rules are also same. Rules say check a petrol pump for only 5 liters. I mean, which is what I want to tell you all. We are in this situation because of technology, because of certain guidelines. So to Shivananda, I would like to say, as much as I would try to check a meter, we have this issue at hand today, and we don't have a right technology, so measurement of that is actually of no meaning.
Very interesting point, because I think each one of us are affected by this particular issue. Is there any caller yet? We will take one audience question now. Is there an audience question? Would you? Well, they're quite. Oh, the second question has come? Okay, we'll take one more SMS question, because the online audience has been waiting. So just one moment.
So this is Anish Suneja, who talks about reforms required urgently to make interest of investors in real estate more protected. Really, project data, further things I think has not come up because of the buffer length. But I could understand what they're talking about. They're saying, how do you protect investors in real estate? We in Maharashtra have made the rules. As I said, on 25th of last month, these rules have been, proposed rules have been sent to central government. Under our Legal Metrology Act, the concurrence of central government is required to make the rules applicable, and that part is happening. It will be a matter of time that this will take shape. But regardless of the rules being there, whenever the complaints have come, we have taken action. As per record so far, we have taken action against 13 complaints all over Maharashtra. Primarily Bombay is the main concern. New Bombay is another area where we have maximum building activity going on. I urge the citizens, I urge them that they should come forward and lodge these complaints. We would certainly, within our laws, take action. Whatever it may be a very minor punishment to start with, but you see, as a subsequent offense happens, this law talks about jail, and then in case you are doing more than 2 or 3, you certainly going to land in jail. So I want to tell the consumers that they should come forward and lodge these complaints. Okay.
An audience.
You can ask the question, who had come stood up earlier. Yeah.
One, Dr. Nag, just a moment, please. He's giving you the mic, because you realize that there's an online, people also are watching, so they would like to hear you.
Right, okay.
Please ask.
My question is regarding this petrol thing that you have explained. If I have understood correctly, that you mean that 5 liters will be generally given 5 liters, right? And I have also checked with my petrol pump, and they have shown me that here is 5 liter, and they have a can full. They show it full up to brim. It's okay. My question is that supposing, I am filling my petrol and I have 23 liters. Does it mean that 4 multiplied by 5 is 20 liters? I'll get definitely. But the balance 3 liter, I may not get 3. I may 2.5 or 2.75. Am I right in understanding?
There is if I can try to explain the technology in simple terms, up to 5 liters it requires, because when the fluid comes out on the nozzle, for it to develop the right velocity, it takes at least 5 liters for it to come to a proper flow speed. So after 5 liters if you buy, you should be getting proper. But less than 5 liters, the velocity itself, and then for others I would like to say that the faster the disposal, there are 3 latches in the dispensing unit. If you let the person press to the last notch, you probably are going to get even more than 5 liters will be less, because these technology today is of that old pulsars. They are called pulsars. They are not able to measure either a very slow speed or a very low speed, a very fast speed. So a person who makes these dispensing units told me that whenever you fill a petrol pump, you tell fill your tank on a petrol pump, you should tell the person to put the notch on the first level so that you get a slower speed. But less than 5 liters if you buy, even government today, our rules do not confirm that whether you're getting right or wrong. But more than 5 liters, you should certainly be getting. So 23 liters, I think you should get. But the technology being whatever it is, I won't guarantee that even. I mean, that's what.
Yes, is there any question on this side? Yes, please. The mic, I would request everyone to please speak on the mic.
I'm
because it
Vasan
gets
Patil. I just want to know, the electric meters, electricity meters, maybe digital or electrodynamic meters, they can fall under this purview? If so, then the question comes is, how do I ensure the calibration at various small residential listings?
The energy meters are not at the moment covered by the legal metrology, though the energy meters fall very much within the definition of any weight of measure which is used for transaction. It falls within the definition. But here we have referred the matter to our parent body in Delhi, but all over India, this particular part has been not given to legal metrology. And the reasons I will not be able to answer. So since it is not done, we have made a reference as recently as 3 months back that these electric meters need to be within our purview and we need to check them. But it has not happened.
Because what is happening is, what we suspect apprehension is supplying agencies are playing around the extreme end of a bandwidth of the calibration.
I would neither say yes or no, but at the moment, this is not within our purview. It should be in our purview. That's my personal opinion.
I think there is one SMS which was flashing. Yes.
The question says that where the gas station, petrol pumps, how do you make sure that they're not tampered and we get the exact quantity worth the money we pay? There should be some kind of certification, as these meters have been checked for quality control by some regulatory authority. Now, this question I am telling you that we do seal these. What we seal is actually the pulsars. These pulsars are sealed by us, and when they are installed, this is a nice. So sealing means that we put a lead seal on top of it. They are supposedly not opened, and they are not supposed to be tampered with. If they're tampered with, then there's a serious offense. But I think what the information we have is that the older meters, which allow opening of the boards, the front boards, without any kind of changing of the seal or tampering with the seal, allows certain chips to be installed to make sure that the reading goes up and down. And because of that, we have said that the technology needs to change. As of now, there is certification done by us. That is, ever since in my tenure, we have said that the manufacturer himself should come and certify whether the K factor of the machine. K factor is the total rotation of that LED for 1 liter. That is the simple meaning. The number of times the LED moves for giving 1 liter is the K factor. So if that is correct or not, and similarly it has been tampered or not at the time of our annual verification. But as I said, we are certifying a technology which is faulty. We will be only getting a faulty verification, if at all. And on to top of it, let me also explain to you, for your information, the dealers who are getting these petrols, I will not name them, but they say that they get less petrol, and hence they are giving out less petrol. And for you to understand how they get the petrol, today the tankers in India are not scale. They're not measured scales. They are not a measurement thing. You make a round tanker and fill a petrol, and that's it. So how do we measure it? I think for you, please understand, while you get the petrol through the dispensing units, you see a meter. Our measurement of these tankers is through dipping a rod. And how do you dip a rod? You first of all prove a tanker by putting water and dipping this rod and marking it at, say, 5,000 liters. And then the petrol fellows fill it with flow meter, and then the tanker goes. The rod which I have marked also goes along with the tanker. In the process, wherever things are, both departments are being together, ultimately the guy at the end gets lesser petrol. And so he says, this technology, and we are attempting that technology also. We have said that the retail outlet should have flow meters as well. So that's something we are doing. Apart from just the question, I thought I'll explain it to you, that the faulty readings or getting less petrol is right at the very beginning, where the petrol is given to the dealer. And so the dealer gets less, and he gives less. There are various issues. I probably, if somebody asks, I will explain how temperature dependent it is, how density dependent it is, how water is not the right mark, how the tampering happens right at the delivery stage itself.
I think you wish to have a question here.
I have one question and one suggestion. Recently, we were traveling from Bombay to Pune, and on the way, we stopped for a cup of coffee. So I bought an item which was marked maximum price as 90 rupees. And the shopkeeper insisted on me paying him 100 rupees. So I said, no, but it is marked as 90 rupees. So this MRP is applicable to Bombay or whole of Maharashtra. And on the way, these people, they refused to accept less than what they quote. Eventually, we struck a deal. I paid him 95 rupees. But it was more than the maximum retail price. That is the question. The suggestion being, it was very informative that whatever you have mentioned, why not put this in the newspapers and say this is for the general public and these are roughly the rules. If you all have, at least I have not seen anything for people, if they have a complaint, they should come to you. I know about it, but the general public, I don't think they are very aware of this. If you can.
Yeah, I think, the We Can group, the Citizens Action group which has come to us, was one of the motives was this, that look, legal metrology sometimes have come in news, but it probably has a very pervasive role in day-to-day life. So why don't we talk to you? And this is one of the forums that we are trying to communicate. But I think the papers have been covering us, But you see, when the effect of the law that we are carrying is, say, about 2,000 rupees for any offense, if, say, my maximum punishment that I can give to a person who's charging you 95 to 100 rupees is 2,000 rupees. So the guy says, well, whenever guy got caught, I'll pay 2,000 rupees, I'll get away. So that is where we have asked for MRP Act to be made, and that Act is under active consideration. I think it would happen, but it will take some time before that happens, but that's pretty much in the offing, that there will be an act, and that we have proposed. A person who charges more should be put first time, should be a cognizant offense. It should report to police, and there should be a bailable offense first time. Second offense should be non-bailable. That's what we have proposed. I hope that sees the light of the day.
Yeah, thank you very much. In fact, whenever I buy something, I keep telling them, you can charge me less than MRP, but you can't charge me more. So that is from a consumer point of view, I keep resisting. I say, you can always charge me less. There's no law being broken.
In this connection, Mr. Pandey, we assure you, on behalf of the Citizen Action Network, that we will come to you and take as suggested a proper questionnaire. Your act is, by the way, very very well structured, what is there already on your website. However, for the common man, a simple way of a chart and certain things which we have done for other departments, we follow the same thing, and with your concurrence, certainly we will put it out for all consumers on some of the issues that have been raised and which actually touch our daily lives frequently and all the time across. So we shall certainly do that. We'll take it forward. Yes, Mr. Doshi?
So this is related to measurements in real estate, say a simple thing like a flat. There are two aspects to it. One is the equipment used to measure, and the other is what to measure and how to measure. And there is a lot of subjectivity as far as what to measure. So does this also cover that aspect of measurement, sir?
So actually, precisely, this is the point that was being brought to my notice by the bidders. When we said anything short delivery of immobile property is within my scope, so besides the potatoes and tomatoes argument, the other argument was this, that how do you know what will you measure? Now the measurement is, there were various things. There are dados which are there, then there is that skirting which is there. So carpet area, everybody knows, but then carpet, how do you measure? Whether there are dados, when in the bathrooms there are dados, then there are skirtings in the house, then the thickness of the walls, niches, all this, I would like to inform you, was addressed by the best and the very best in Bombay. I could name of some of them. The principal JJ School of Architecture was the part of the committee. The professor from VJTI, Civil Engineering Department was part of the committee. The chairman of the Institute of Architects, Bombay, Mr. Paley was part, and one of the leading architects, Mr. Lund, was also part of this. So we've drafted this over various deliberations, and all these aspects as to what has to be measured, how has to be measured, today has been taken care of. And if it comes and sees the light of the day, which I think it would, because Maharashtra government has agreed and has sent it to Delhi. So it's only a matter of time that this will be there. But regardless, we have now appointed few honorary architects who are assisting a few paid surveyors who will come to your place as little a cost of 3 rupees per square. I think it will be about 9 rupees per square meter that they will be measuring your flats. So that system has come into place. Time will make sure that we have this very clearly rolled out. Okay.
I think that excuse me. If you don't mind, I was wondering that there are so many students in the in-house audience. Would one of the students like to have a question? Or maybe if you're thinking about it, we'll take another question. Yes? Please. I think let's give the students a chance first, then we'll come back to you.
Sir, it's Himanshu. What are the expectations?
Please keep the mic up.
It's Himanshu, sir.
Speak to the mic, please.
What are the expectations of citizens, from citizens, sir?
Well, the expectation from the citizens is that, we should inform us. And we are a department which does not even require a complaint. We are a department which doesn't require a written complaint from you also, at least in terms of packaged commodities. You could just inform our control room. We have the numbers, we also started a WhatsApp number. You could inform us. It may be delayed, but then we will certainly take action, particularly for the schools. Let me tell you this, that we have taken action against some schools recently for selling notebooks without a printed price. And a lot of these schools in Sion and otherwise who have had to pay a very heavy price for selling a bunch of books. When you go for admission, they sell you these notebooks also. And those are sold at a much higher price. So that also has been taken care of. So I would say that be vigilant and try to complain. You don't have to bother about disclosing any of your identity as well, because we don't, we in this department don't look at, but obviously if you're coming for a real estate kind of complaint, we will require documents. But for a package commodity, notebooks, package commodity for like a Bisleri water, cold drinks, you just have to inform.
Mr. Pandey, would you like to share the numbers? Or do you have it, or you can mail it to me?
The numbers are like, my control room is 22886666. That is 2288 4 times 6. And the WhatsApp number which we started, particularly because of the milk complaints, and which we are now trying to broad base, is 9869691666. So that's the number, 9869691666. So anywhere WhatsApp, you can send giving your details of the complaint. 98691666. Yeah, that's the number. 986969.
Yes, please.
My name is Janardhan. I continue the same question on real estate. Can we see in the near future you are coming out with this measurement for the properties to even quantify the fittings which go into a flat, like how many pipelines, electrical lines, locks, handles, bathroom fittings, taps, which cost a lot. This agreements which builders sell is just generally worded, so granite, this. So is the quantification also includes the quantity of these fit-outs? Will we have a model contract in future which you can put in your website, this is what should be? Because each fitting, each lock costs 2,000 rupees today. So will you not, will we trying to implement even the fittings other than a floor? Floor is something which can be disputed. Fit-outs cannot be disputed.
Okay, just to inform you about the Act also, the Act while it talks about, when I said short delivery in terms of thing, it also has a very wider definition of service. It says anything which is delivered short in terms of service, which is service in terms of numbers, quantity, this is what it says. The suggestion which has come is basically, I would welcome it, that if the builders are going to follow what I say, then I will put up a model contract, and I can tell you that we will work on it. I mean, this is something which was at the back of our mind, but I cannot. I will be in no position to enforce for each builder to come and sign only the model contract. But I would, after what you've said and also what we have been delivering, that we should talk about not only just the builders, but talk about any service contract. Let it be a chartered accountant contract. Let it be a contract of somebody who is going to provide you service in terms of some kind of agreed quantity or agreed number. Then we should, and the law provides for it, we should work on that. So I take your suggestion. We will probably work on it. Maybe next session you would know, or I'll probably give it to Indrani ji, and we'll probably take this on the website. Okay.
We will certainly work with you on this. Please use the mic, excuse me. If you don't use the mic, it doesn't get recorded. Would you repeat, please?
Every iron sold in the market gives the measurement of the wire, and it says it is without plug. So many items which are sold in the market, they describe the quantity of attachments. So these attachments which are with the flat is an integral part of the contract. So are you going to enforce that or not? That is what is my question.
So we pretty much have the intention to do it. I mean, we have an intention to do it. We have your support. Probably we'll see this amendment done. So I would certainly look into it. I said it's a very valid suggestion.
I think there is an SMS question been waiting.
Well, this is talking about malpractices that occur at way bridges. This is by some number which they have specified. So the way bridges, the malpractices in the way bridges, this is also, let me tell you this, where do we stand in the weighing technology in India? In the weighing technology, this country only talks about an assembly of various equipments to make either a weigh bridge or a tabletop scale or a platform scale or whatever. The basic ingredient of the weigh bridge is basically a load cell. And the load cell does not get manufactured, barring a very few manufacturers in India. The load cell is essentially coming from China, and that load cell never gets tested because that load cell is never ever having been registered or controlled by any of our acts. We have started asking people to get themselves registered to get this kind of imports absolutely out of our realm. So this is going to happen. So one of the malpractices that happens in the weigh bridges is that you have a load cell, you talk about 20 tons, but nobody tested it. So even I have not tested it. There is a rudimentary method of testing it by putting those many tons of weights, which is as antique as anybody else. I mean, so when the load cell gives out its weight in terms of voltage, in terms of current, we should be able to measure the capacity of that weigh bridge or that load cell, basically load cell. So that's one malpractice, that the load cell we do not know. Just like the petrol pump pulsars, we do not know the load cell as well. Then the other thing is that the ingenuity of Indians also, I must thank them, and I am part of it. The meter, there is a display. There's a load cell, and then there's a display. Because the wires go to the display, there's an entire chip which takes the signal from the load cell, translates it into numbers, like it is 10 tons, 20 tons, 30 tons. This particular part of the display is manipulated. And so somebody provided a load cell, somebody provided the chipset, and somebody provided a load cell. The restriction is that a person who provides the load cell should be the person who provides the chipset, should be the person who provides the display unit and the software which goes with it. In India, the malpractice is that all these 3 or 4 items are outsourced or probably sourced differently to suit people in different situations. So that's what is happening. These are the malpractices. The weigh bridges which we sealed in Nandgaon Pit, basically the display units, and they are the best in the best of this country who have put these 20 weigh bridges, and they are still sealed. The display unit was tampered with. There's another one in Solapur that we sealed, again similar situations. So that's the problem.
We'll take some questions from the audience again.
Yeah, we know packaged goods, and when we talk about cost, when we talk about pricing, it becomes easy. But when we are talking about service like mobile, what happens there? I mean, does it get measured when it's a number of minutes? Do you take that into account when we are saying that this much minutes has been charged, this much minutes you have spoken? Does that get and also in terms of the SIM cards, now you see a SIM card is being sold even in a panwala, even by a stationery shop. We do not get bills for that, and neither is it MRP is mentioned on the SIM card. What happens on that?
Well, the first thing that you said about the telephones, the mobile phones. Somewhere way back in January when I joined, when I came in and I was looking at it, the per second bill is something that we are certainly looking at. But we have very little expertise as far as they have been selling us air, in the sense that all these telecom operators have come and absolutely bulldozed us, saying that, what do you know of? Same like the builders who said you are selling tomatoes and potatoes and this is not your domain. They are telling us in a similar vein. We are evaluating, and we have issued notices to every telecom operator. Now, since we are overloaded in Bombay, only yesterday we said that this per second billing should be checked out of Aurangabad because we have more staff there. So let me explain this to you. Second is a legal metrology unit, which is India is a signatory of OIML, and second is defined. So we have a very clear mandate to ask any telecom operator, how did you measure your second? In what manner did you do? And let me tell you, for the citizens here, there are consultants who are going around, and that's where we were alerted. that there are consultants in very big corporate companies who are going around and selling presentations saying that given their services, they can reduce your cost to 40% in terms of your mobile usage. Now, that sets alarm bells because this billing process of per second is something which really needs to be checked. His second may not be somebody else's second. Please understand, this second has to be given by, today in India, there's a National Physical Laboratory which talks about giving the national time or the atomic clock. Now, I have a hunch, and so do many of the consumers who are users of this, that probably one operator to another operator, there's a desync. Somebody may not be just a pure second, some may be slightly lesser. So we are seized of the matter. We will look into it. The next question that you said, the SIM card not giving invoice. In the MRP proposed act, we have said anybody not giving invoice should be equally charged as a person who's overcharging. So that will be taken care of, provided this happens. Yeah.
Sir,
Yes, please conclude.
Why don't the SIM cards have a MRP mentioned on them, so it becomes easy as well?
We will. We are actually writing to them. I can't say that we've already written, but this we have discussed that they cannot sell anything which is packaged without mentioning this, and you will see some cases very soon in Bombay. So that's happening. Yeah.
One of my friend, Mohan Siroya, who is a consumer activist, he has asked you, he sent you email also about Seven Hills.
Yes.
And that he says that bill is not given, but they charge more than twice about this water bottle, this thing. So how that has to be covered?
Well, this complaint was sent to us about some months back. When we checked that time, they sold the bottle at the same price. But again, yesterday only, I think that he has again complained. Yesterday, day before yesterday, he sent a mail. So we are looking at it, and we will try and see. Yeah, so we will check Seven Hills. I have the complaint, and I'm aware of it. Okay.
I think we'll take a last question, the second last question. Yes, Mr. Narvikar.
I'm Narvikar from Airavat Group. Ours is a training institute which are training the student as well as consumers, as well as staff and corporates everywhere. So why not, we are giving one proposal that why not we train consumers in our institute or any institute. They should be trained, they should be informed, they should be called, there should be a quorum form, and they should be given all this information. This is my suggestion from my company. Or your people also can come and train us, give the training, how we should train them, what information should be passed on to the consumers. So this is a really valid thing that everybody should know this. What is MRP? What is how should be rates are charged? What are the petrol dispenser things? How they are designed? So everybody should aware. If it is not coming in the paper, then we should dissipate this information by training.
I think this is something which we will work on.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Narvikar, for the suggestion. You and I have been speaking on this particular thing, aspect also. So we will take this up. I think the last question my co-trustee, Mr. Jaikar, would like to raise.
Yeah, good afternoon. We discussed about measurement of the flat as well as the weighment of the tomatoes and potatoes. But when you use the tape, how do you know that the tape is measuring the correct thing? Or when you have the weights which are used by the vendor, how do you know that the weight is correct? Is there any standard weight? Is there any standard tape? How do I know what is the 1 foot? Just because my plastic foot ruler says that or my tape says that? What is the standard?
Well, any weight or every weight and any measure and every measure in Maharashtra or anywhere in India needs a stamping done by the legal metrology. So if you have a weight like 50 grams, if you reverse it and see, there will be a legal metrology stamp on that. If it doesn't have a stamp, then there's a problem. So that's one way of looking at it. Similarly, every tape, Now today, the builders came and told me that we are measuring through infrared rays. I said, whatever your rays may be, we are talking about rudimentary methods. Your tape has to be there, and the tape has to be stamped. So no tape, which is a measuring instrument, and no weight, which is a weighing item, can be used without our stamp. So you should check for our stamps. Just like egg mark, if you can just turn it around. And the standard weights probably we have in our custody, which on complaint we do take and to measure whether they are measuring it right or not. So that's the only thing I can at the moment say. Yes.
My name is Asha Idnani. I'm a consumer activist. I'd just like to find out, Mr. Pandey, from you, like soap. It says 100 grams. At random, I picked up some, and even I weighed them, but they are not 100 grams. In spite of the packing, it still is not 100 grams. Now, is the soap supposed to be 100 grams, or the wrapping is supposed to be included in that?
The soap has to be 100 grams, it's not the wrapping. Similarly, this mithai walas is without that box, it should be 100 grams. The box weight is not included. So the wrapping is not included. If you have a situation like that, only for a side slightly, unfortunately, anything less than 10 milligrams is not within our scope. Or 10 grams is not within our scope. Sorry, 10 milligrams is there. So 10 grams is not within our scope. Anything more than 10 grams is within our scope, and you can always lodge a complaint with us.
Because I found some soaps which have got 85 grams, they said, instead of 100
No,
grams.
that's serious.
Yes, that's what I thought. So I said, in spite of the wrapping, why should it be
so
that
next time
way?
you do, next time you find it,
yes,
please
yes.
do complain.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I think we have asked the questions. We are on time. I would request my colleague, Mr. Ranganathan, to do the concluding remarks.
I think the subject of legal metrology has excited a lot of interest, but we have constraint of time. So we are not able to take any more questions. But what we propose to do is, whatever questions have come by email or by Skype, and whatever questions are remained asked, we will compile them and forward it to Mr. Sanjay Pandey, so that in due course of time he can respond to those questions. I think this is a very useful and interesting session, and there are a lot of things to be followed up, both by the citizens as well as by the metrology department. We look forward to more such interactions in future. With these words, I would like to heartily thank Mr. Sanjay Pandey in the midst of all these activities he is able to come, spare his time, and interact with us in a free and frank manner. Thank you.
May I please request the trustees of V-Citizen Action Network to come here? We would like, on behalf of all of us, to present a small memento to Mr. Pandey. And it is our pledge to all our citizens, including ourselves, and to Mr. Pandey, that as a trust, we will take this issue forward. It is not just one social Sanchar, but there is a lot of work that we need to do. But it's not a trust work, it's all of us being smart and being smart consumers. So let's proceed on that path. The trustees, would you please come up? Thank you. Please join us for some light refreshments. It's tea time, so a little late, but it's still tea time. Let's have tea. Thank you.